Welcome to the new Overlords Podcast, where we talk about video games and why they are the way they are. I'm Max, and with me, as always, is someone who is all treats and no tricks, my co-host, Sema. Hello there, Sema.
Oh my gosh. Hello, Max. How are you?
I am doing well. Are you ready for Halloween? Are you ready for... don't get me started.
I better be. I mean, this morning I got up and I thought, is it Halloween today or is it tomorrow? And so I asked Alexa and she said, yes, it is today.
It is today. And then she said, it's the 31st.
Right. She said, yes, it is Halloween tomorrow.
Which is tomorrow.
On the 31st of October.
Yeah. The GPT models are used to saying answers that people would say, not the right answers. And there's a famous one, which is how many R's are in strawberry? And it'll say there's 2 R's in strawberry. Because when people are asking, it's like, are there 2 R's? Is it 1 R or 2 R's in the berry part? But it'll say over and over, how many R's are in strawberry? 2. What about how many R's are in the first half? Well, there's 1 there. How many R's are in the second half? Well, there's 2 there. Okay, so how many R's are in strawberry? 2. No, there's 3 R's in strawberry.
I thought it's supposed to learn.
No, it doesn't. That's a misinterpretation also. The models do not learn. They will take into context the continuing conversation, but they don't learn until you build a new model. They are not immediately self-reinforcing.
I just asked Gemini how many R's are in strawberry, and it said 3 R's.
Good job. Well, it's pretty famous now, so maybe.
And also, I just typed it in the question. I want to, so it can read my question.
But it can't. That's the weird thing. So
yeah, it is weird.
The word strawberry is a token, and it matches with answers that people have said in discussions about the word strawberry. It can't, there's no algorithm in there that says, oh, well, let me look at all the letters and let me count them up. That doesn't happen. There's nothing like that in the GPT.
Because when I'm making images and I'll sometimes say, and with a speech bubble that says, XYZ, and then it'll come out in the speech bubble, say ABC.
Right.
Or just have squiggles in it. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Like the weird Cthulhu writing. The weird runes that if you speak it out loud, it summons a demon.
It looks like, you're right, it looks like elven writing gone bad.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I am ready for Halloween, although it looks like it's going to be windy and cold and blustery, so I bet we're not going to get very many people, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it's going to be a rough Halloween for the youngsters around this neighborhood tomorrow.
We're supposed to have good weather tomorrow, so that's good. The reason I wanted to know if it was Halloween was do I have to go to the grocery store today or can I wait till tomorrow?
I ordered my candy ahead of time and they were all out of all Reese's products. Amazon Fresh is too many rants. We spent the whole pre-show ranting. If you want more ranting, join the pre-show and the post-show at newoverlords.com/Discord.
My rant about Amazon Fresh is that it isn't in my neighborhood. I can't.
Yeah. All right.
And now Amazon has started recommending me things that are on Amazon Fresh.
You know what Amazon Fresh recommends to me is meat back on the menu.
It looks like meat's back on our menu, boys.
No way.
God.
Finally.
I kind of like the mango bread.
I was going to do the game changer to talk about the games that we're going to talk about today. Before we get to the news, we're going to dive into 2 of the games which we actually play quite a bit.
I appreciate that you were trying to move things along there.
Oh yeah, we're
in danger of going down forever.
Gonna have to put bookmarks in the YouTube video. Intro, rant, derail, non-podcast.
Right.
Game talk. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about World of Warcraft and what we're actually doing in there and new stuff coming and what we're playing. Then we'll talk about game news and anything else we've been playing. We'll wrap it up with there. So we've sort of reordered the show a little bit these days. So that's the way it's going to go. But let's start with one of our main games that you and I play quite a bit, have a lot of fun with, Star Wars: The Old Republic. So what do we got coming that we get to even try out right now, Sema? What do we got coming?
I mean, how many R's are there in Star Wars?
One.
Right. Good answer. So yeah, we've been playing on the public test server
Yes.
to try out a new event coming in Star Wars: The Old Republic called Dynamic Events.
Yes.
And
So there'll be a whole
basically,
update coming at the end of the year. They're calling it their
yes,
holiday update. So they probably like middle of December, end of what I
yeah,
guess they were like around Thanksgiving the last 2 years. There was like the first week in December last 2 years.
it's
Oh,
yeah.
ooh, okay. While we're on the topic, what's your prediction, Sema? What's your date for 7.6 going live? This is a thing that we do.
Let me look.
When is Thanksgiving? The 27th or the 28th? Is it the last week in November? So that would put, yeah, okay. So I have my date,
I'm gonna say the 17th of December.
17th of December.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then Price is Right rules. I'm going to go with the 10th of December.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was going to
I
go with the 3rd, but then,
I kind of think the 10th might be it too, but we'll see.
okay. So I'm going with the 10th. You can go with the 17th because you already said it.
Right.
And then I have a chance
It's
this
already
one
locked in.
time of being right. Sema is almost always correct. If you want to go with the 10th, now that you've thought about it, you can go with the 10th too,
Yeah,
because you are
Forrester
right.
says, yeah, when is Galactic Season over? That's a good point.
January. Galactic Season's not over till January. They postponed the end of the Galactic Season. They said, though, that this is the holiday update. I believe this is still going to come in the beginning of December. I do not think it's going to be, February. Yeah, February 6th for the end of the season. So they extended that.
That's a good, yeah, but that's going to be weird for them to put up 7.x in the middle of a season.
Yes, but I cannot see them holding 7.6 until February 6th. They're definitely not.
Not once they said holiday.
Right. So there will be a few things coming. In fact, I think there's going to be more than just what we're seeing on the PTS and playing. And in fact, I kind of hope there's more. I guess we'll sort of get to that, what our assessment is of where they're at. Because I think we're going to get a story update too. 4th, February 4th, Stask lies. Is malicious lies. No, Hanlon's
Right.
Razor. Stask is just confused. Well, tune into the pre-show for our Hanlon's Razor discussion. So what do we get? Tell me about dynamic events, because it's interesting. It's an interesting system. I have opinions and ideas, and we could talk about why and the use of it. But tell me what the dynamic events are.
I like it because I've been saying for a while that I wish they would do. I mean, I couched it like with operations, but I wish they would do more things back on the worlds we already know rather than stacking everything behind creating a new zone.
Sure.
So this actually does take advantage. Like I've been playing it on the PTS, it takes advantage of the whole map of Hoth. I haven't done the Tatooine one yet, but I imagine it's the same thing. And I was kind of okay. So what it is though is it's a system of small events that you can do in under 30 minutes, much under 30 minutes, but they're like around for like 30 minutes and each. And it pretty much covers the whole map of the planet. So you could probably go anywhere on the planet and find one or two if you wanted to do. They are similar to quests in that you have, a goal that you have to like move a bar to, like kill a certain number of
kind of
people or
smaller
find
than a daily. Most of them feel shorter than a regular like daily mission, right? Do you think?
Yes. Well, the dailies do kind of run the gamut in terms of like.
True.
There are some that are just really
maybe
brief.
they're like about the same as a daily, but they are quite dynamic, and they pop up and they go away, and
I feel like
a lot of variety.
There's a lot of the ones I did. There's sometimes lots of mobs. Like there'll be a group of 5 or 6 mobs, and I feel, and they're fine. Like they're easy for me to kill, which I like. I don't mind a lot of mobs when I can handily kill them. It's not tedious in that way. Like I feel like what they did with Uprisings, they tried to make something that would be engaging because it's a lot of mobs, but they're hard enough to kill that to me it makes it more tedious. I'm sorry to say that, but yeah, I don't like. People know me. No, I'm not fond of uprisings. But so I do like them. Plus, there's enough of a variety in what you do. I don't know how it's going to survive for me over time because, the
Yeah.
variety, once the variety kind of goes away, we'll see. But I like the fact that it's bringing new life to Hoth. In fact, on the PTS, I was there with my one character that I was doing these with, and I was looking at the map and realizing that I don't know how to get there from here, which I would not have guessed would ever be the case with Hoth or Tatooine, right?
Yeah.
I've just spent so much time on those planets. So I thought it was a really good use of the space. I like the immediacy of it. I don't know how much for long term it's going to be for me. We'll see. It kind of depends on the rewards. Like the rewards on the PTS are minor.
So other
we'll see.
MMOs have this kind of system, right? Where there's these dynamic events that pop up. Guild Wars has some that I kind of like in this way. But the time, and maybe this is why, this is again, why are they doing this? Who is this for? The time that I make most use of those is when I'm leveling up, when I'm in the zone, when I'm leveling up, when I'm on that planet doing stuff. Well, then being able to jump in a couple of those along the way, there's something going on over here, then it's kind of cool. I agree that putting these things on existing planets, especially iconic planets like Hoth and Tatooine, those are the first two on the PTS. I think there might be more now. That's a fun place to put those. These are fun planets. There's like one that involves the Sarlacc pit. Some are like click these 8 things. Some are kill these 25 things or kill this one little mini boss. But some are more creative. We'll get to a couple of those in just a second, our favorites. But when I
first heard them describe it, I thought it was going to be more similar to the events system on Guild Wars 2, where there's these huge bosses and a bunch of people band together to kill them. But this is all stuff that's immediate. It's close to you can do it yourself. It's personalized.
yes.
Like a group, you get group progress on some of them, but it's still personal. So I think that's a good choice because we're not going to get hundreds of people on Hoth necessarily.
Right. So you can solo. All of them can be soloed from what I've done 15 of them so far. We'll get to why our rewards for the PTS, and all of them could be soloed. A couple of them, it would have been nice to have more people, and a couple of them, they need to fix this, and I just don't know if they don't get that it happens. But if an Imperial character starts the fight on this, there's a big droid, it's going crazy, go kill that droid. If an Imperial character is fighting that and a Republic character comes in to help out, the Republic character doesn't get credit, and vice versa. If a Republic character starts it and any number of Republic characters come to help out, everybody gets credit. The cross faction, I think they need multi-tagging on cross faction. They just need to turn it on because it's sort of disappointing that it's not.
I mean, that's working that way in live, isn't it? For the dark versus light bosses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. That is rough.
It's working for anything that satisfies a quest, that it completes a quest. So DVL, DVL, it's not. DVL is multi-tag, Imperial versus Republic. It doesn't matter.
No, it does.
No, it'll still check off the season objective, I'm pretty sure. Because it's not a quest. You're not completing a quest objective.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure if the other.
Okay, well then that would be potentially broken too.
Yeah.
A lot of anything that's a quest, like kill 3 world bosses, that definitely is broken between Imperial and Republic. Anyway, so the idea is there might be like a little mini event going on, and you could join in with other people or just like see some people fighting things. In fact, there was a bigger one. There's these hidden chain invasions, and that's part of the current storyline. It was definitely a bigger event, and that one was annoying to do alone, and I would have liked more people to be showing up. But as you said, there's not going to be a ton of people running around on these planets. And so who is this for? I think it's two things. They might think it's for everybody, and maybe it is. And depending on how they reward us and incent us to go do these things, it might be for everybody. Normally, this kind of thing is for people that are in the zone while you're leveling up However, in Star Wars: The Old Republic, you don't need extra XP. You don't need to be. In fact, you will outlevel the planet much
Right.
faster than you will do even like the main story quest on the planet. So you don't need to do it. Currently on the PTS, the rewards for what you get are not very much for doing it. They may tie it into like the Galactic Season, which is the kind of the battle pass for Star Wars: The Old Republic. They could add it as a weekly objective. Go do 15 of these things. They all have already on the PTS added it into the conquest system, which is more sort of like daily challenges that you can go do. And it's 15 for the daily challenge, or daily repeatable. I don't think you have to do them all in one day, but it is daily repeatable. So if they're incenting you in that way as part of the other systems and making it just like another set of objectives that they can put into the mix just to mix it up and make some variety, that's not bad. That's okay. Because some are cute, some are fun. I don't think it's a super game changer though. Except maybe for making things kind of interesting for people that are out there leveling up and are on these planets. So, yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see in terms of rewards too.
It's going to depend on the rewards, because there's plenty of things at this level of fun to do in Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's whether this will be the one that people choose to do is going to be on the rewards.
Now there are a couple of cute ones. Have you done so far that was like cute and fun beyond just like the go kill 25 of sand people, which I did also.
I did stumble across the one that Lucy was telling us about, where you carry the Tauntaun babies up the hill and then they just run back down again.
So it's misbehaving Tauntaun babies and the frazzled, what is the mom called? The frazzled parent Tauntaun or whatever.
Like, and it says, help the Tauntauns go up their favorite slope or something like that. Like, it's funny. It's just a funny idea that they have a favorite slope.
Yeah. Yeah. They're basically just sliding down, running down. Because as soon as you take them to the top, they just run back down. That's what I heard. I haven't done that one yet.
Yes, that is what happens. And then I did one that, this is not quite an answer to your question. It's kind of the opposite, where it was, you have to aid the Imperial party against some assassins, but they're Tulsa assassins. You know, those white animal people with the great big oval head. They're nowhere.
Oh.
It's like I ran all over the thing until I was getting the message. One thing about it is when you leave the area of let's call it a quest for the purposes of this, you get a big red banner that says you're leaving the area. So after that, like anything you kill is definitely not going to apply to that. I did this particular one successfully when I first did this a couple weeks ago, and what it is I ran along this ledge and they were stealthed, and they would unstealth momentarily to shoot you.
Oh.
And if you managed to shoot them while they were unstealth, then they came out of stealth and you could kill them. But I ran all over the place today and I did not get anything to shoot me. So I did that for about 5 minutes and then I went on to the next thing.
Yeah, it is PTS, so that could be
Yeah.
little buggy.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been a couple of them that have been a little buggy.
Yeah.
The one I had fun with and I thought was amusing was over by the Sarlacc pit on Tatooine. Again, iconic
I heard
location.
about that one.
It's
Yeah.
very cool. There's a bunch of Gamorreans, and then there's a crate, a blue crate, and you go to the crate and you pick up a weapon, and it's an extra action. It only works within that particular event, and only until you're done. Because I kept one, I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep blasting them. It does a knockback. It does a blast them about 30 meters, and basically what you're supposed to do is be blasting the Gamorreans into the Sarlacc pit. So that was amusing.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that one.
Doing a big knockback. Yeah. So
because there's no setting where the Gamorreans are the good guys.
No, yeah, it's a shame. It's sad. Gamor. Yeah, we need to they need a campaign to have their image rectified. I think they've been unfairly vilified across the galaxy. Or maybe they're just all bad. So we'll see. We'll see. It's the kind of thing where I will do them. I will do them when they put an achievement in because it's an achievement to do. I will do them if they like make it an objective, maybe if it's an easier objective than something else. I cannot imagine any kind of rewards that would make me do them because I don't like do dailies, and dailies definitely give more rewards than these. Even if they upped it, I don't know what. Like, if they were giving like OP1 Catalyst, which is like the more of the high end currency to get gear, maybe I would do it, but they're not going to do that for these. So I don't think they're that much for me, except as an extra thing on the list of things to do when you're sort of like doing the sets of, hey, just do 5 things today, anything off of this list. Then it's okay because it might be a little bit of it's just something else to mix in there. I appreciate that they've got some fun, creative, clever things mixed in there, though.
Yeah, and for me, there are some dailies that I do on Hoth, and maybe it'll be, something fun to mix in. We'll see.
Yeah. Also on the PTS, so there's sort of 2 other things. One other major thing that they're asking people to test, and I think we may try to do it in the next week or 2 because you get a title if you do it.
Yeah.
There's a lair boss. So lair bosses are just like the single boss, raid boss kind of fight. You bring 8 players in there. This one's called the SM Propagator Core XR53. In theory, the artwork isn't even finished on this guy yet. And it's supposed to be like a self-replicating robot of some kind. And it does spawn like other versions of itself during the fight. You gotta go in there and you gotta kill it. It's got some, and just got some boss mechanics. It's a boss fight. It's got a whole bunch of health. It takes 5-6 minutes to kill it, and then and you get it done for the day. I've now seen a couple videos up on YouTube because we tried to do it the one night and they took down the PTS for some updates. But 5 minutes before our ops night started, and then they put it back up 5 minutes after our ops night ended. As they do.
Hamlin's razor.
Right. But yeah, it looks reasonable. Although so this one video that we're watching here, this group seemed pretty coordinated. They were calling it out. They knew what all of the abilities seemed to be. They were calling out all the abilities. They were very fast on taking down the ads. And they still had a couple deaths. There's a barrage of rockets that you have to get out of, or somebody's going to die. And they were very fast. It's like a 1-second cast. You just need to get out, then they hit. You can get right back in. Even with that, by the end of the fight, when things were getting a little, maybe it was a healer or something, there was a couple people that didn't get out quick enough and died. So we'll see how easy it is for pickup groups. But I like
this is video from someone named Rowan, and I give this person props for having that loop in the corner, like that's the streamer, and it's just someone looking very skeptical.
I think that's a GIF to cover over the chat, so you're not like exposing chat to the stream.
Right.
But yes, it's a newscaster looking around, going like, huh, what, like looking confused and angry.
But anyway, whoever you are, thank you for posting this so we could have a look.
Yeah. There was now more are showing up, but when I was looking over the weekend, there was only this one. What's the next one? These guys posted one too. What do we have here? Who are these? Oma de Sala. So Oma de Sala and their group posted one as well, and they were in there fighting it, doing the thing. Can we get a little more resolution, YouTube? Thank you. But yeah. So we'll see. I like these kinds of bosses. Since they can do these, and this seems like a reasonable encounter, a reasonable boss encounter, why can't they do an op, Sema? Why can we have an operation? Can we have an op, please?
Well, I mean, maybe that's what this is meant to try out. Maybe they have someone doing encounters and they want to know whether this, whether that's going to work.
That would be great. And they do have someone working on the encounters. There is an encounter designer working on this one. In fact, we've seen think it's Daniel, I think is his name, and we've seen him on the dev streams talking about encounter design. Yeah, maybe that's it. Let's do one. Let's get one done. Let's get one under our belts. Now we're reorganized under Broadsword, and if this works out, then we'll expand it out and we'll do a full operation.
And I mean, Broadsword, if you're listening, you might be surprised how little we really want out of an op. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be world changing, and it can be.
It doesn't have to tie
Um,
into story. It doesn't, I
It
like
doesn't have to have 8 mechanics that we've never seen before.
right.
It just make it fun, and also, it can be in the planets we already know. It doesn't have to be a new planet.
hmm They do put
Just
a lot of work
saying.
into their
They
operations. It's
do,
true. I mean, I'm
and
trying to think. Oh, just do an easy one like Ravagers. But even Ravagers has like bunch of voice acting and a bunch of it's not connected to any of the rest of the story, but it's got its own
Nope.
little story about this, this pirate who gets kicked off his ship and
Right.
and
And it
he,
was also, I mean, and if they're feeling like they can't do a new op without it being a new zone, I'm saying no. It can be on Hoth. It can be on
yeah,
Tatooine. It can be on Ziost. It can be on, I don't care where it is.
right. Grab
And
some assets we haven't seen in a while. Yeah, Zios would be a good one. Hey, there's another. Yeah, there's some gangs that are taking advantage of the power vacuum in the basement in the lower levels of Ziost. So you got to jump in there and maybe they pull a couple of the people that were in that arena of champions, fight the 10 bosses in a row. It's like a little solo encounter that you can do. Pull a couple of those bosses out. Like now you beat them in the what is that called? The Eternal Championship. You knocked them out in the Eternal Championship, and now they're angry, and they got a gang together, and they're taking over the streets of there. I'll write the lore. I'll write the dialogue too. It'll go like this: "Hey, you're gonna get it," and then and then they start the fight. I'll do the voice acting for you too. I'm the Imperial agent that's going to walk
I
you
mean,
through.
listen, I'd be happy if you just put it in text on the screen in like papyrus font or something.
Papyrus. Yeah, do it. Do it. Just something. That would be great. Speaking of putting stuff on the screen, and again, some talents that they apparently have, Today and Tor has done a good job of tracking this and keeping up to date. And this is something you can see on the PTS too, which is they are not talking this up. They're going to do a live stream on this next month, but they're continuing to do graphical updates across the game. So Cal at Today and Tor, he is really good at checking this and tracking this.
Yeah, he's such a good resource.
So he has noticed this real was spot on. Noticed it right away. Ilum, I believe parts of Hoth. It's like the graphics have gotten a tune-up, and they just are like every planet that they go back and touch, they seem to update both the textures and the lighting, and I think even the skyboxes are getting updated. But what Cal said was they reopened even one of the zones on Ilum that has been blocked off for a long time.
Oh,
So
I
we'll
didn't
see.
realize that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see that now.
Yeah, so that's fun. That's cool. And thanks, Cal, for todayandtor.com for tracking that and keeping an eye on these. He's always done good videos with showing the before and after.
Awesome.
It's also a really good example again of this game is not dead. This is not in maintenance mode. They're continuing to refine existing content and go back and retool things and almost doing like remaster as they go along and as they're adding more story and that kind of thing. So that's cool. It's a good sign for players of this game. Last thing on the SWTOR and on the PTS, the one thing I did notice that they're doing is giving us rewards for players to go and test things on the PTS. But boy, it's not a small amount of testing that they're asking of us, is it, Sema?
No, it is not.
If you want to get
I
all the rewards, how many dynamic encounters do we need to do, Sema?
100.
100. 100.
I'm willing to do 100. I just need time. Don't take the PTS down too soon.
And I don't know we don't know when the PTS is going to come down.
No.
I thought I was willing to do 100, but I got like 10 done.
I mean, here's the thing. I can do them, but I also need to do Feast of Prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to do my Ops Night. So
And I need to play Dragon Age Veilguard, and I need to do what we're going to talk about next, World of Warcraft.
Give me the time.
I got a video game to develop. You know, I'll help develop yours too, but I've been doing working on a bunch of stuff this morning. I was going to set aside time to jump in this morning and get like a couple more of my things done. I spent all morning tracking down if you're going to use data assets in Unreal Engine, make sure that you're loading those data assets in the asset manager, which is in project settings, and you need to have them set to cook always. Because if they're not cooked when you're doing the build and packaging of your game, that data asset tree will not be in your game. So there you go. There's my game tip of the day. I had to
always
track that
cook.
today.
Okay, gotcha.
Let me cook. Yeah. So we have a lot to do on the PTS. We will not get, and I'm glad they didn't make this a requirement of getting the red droid, which is the main thing I want. That's the little reward I want, is the red droid that Machete got accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it because Machete has it already.
Yes, that's the reason I want it. Not because I will ever use it or take it out, except when Machete takes his out. But Machete's been very cool about it. He hasn't like lorded it over to us.
True.
So it's the B1 SAL, the Bissell mini pet droid, which is reminiscent of the droid that Cassian Andor had in the beginning of the Andor series, which is the best Star Wars written in the past year. Yeah, there's Machete in the chat room. See, this is the way to be, people. Machete in the chat room is saying, I want everyone to have it.
Yeah.
He's not saying
everyone be like Machete.
It's only valuable to me if I can prevent anyone else from having it, which a lot of gamers are that way. They get like whatever kind of like mount or pet or armor set. And then like, Blizzard says, we're adding this armor set back into World of Warcraft. And they go, I worked hard for that. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
So Machete, thank you very much. He's very chill, very cool. He's part of our ops team. He's a leader in Alea Iacta Est, and this is the way things are. This is the way you should be. What would Machete do? That's what we say every day. Okay. Yes. So yeah, I want to get it. One thing we don't have to do is defeat the Propagator Core XR53 on veteran mode. You do get a title if you do that, but that's not part of the meta achievement to get the robot, which I'm happy about because we are not going to do that. But yes, we don't have a lot of time to do the PTS because we're doing other things. And I know, Sema, you've been doing some things in World of Warcraft. Why don't we switch over to that? Why don't you tell me what's going on and then what's coming and then what you've been doing with your team?
Yeah. Okay. So last week, the 20th anniversary stuff started in WoW.
Yeah.
And that it's a lot. Like I went around on the first day and just talked to all the NPCs and trying to figure out, all the stuff there is to do and which ones I would want to do for why and all that stuff. And I really didn't figure it out, even though I did talk to all the. But as the days went on, it became more and more clear. So basically, it's an area that they opened up that's has some games and some little events and NPCs that you get these little story updates from. Like, I don't know if you remember Thessarian, but he was a Death Knight in the story of he's in all the stories, but in Wrath of the Lich King, you get to have a little speech bubble with him, and you kind of find out where he's at right now and how he doesn't really approve of celebrating anything because he's sort of like down on life right now. And you're like, oh, Thessarian. And stuff like that. And then there's an event with Chromie where you have to help her try and fix the timeline, which was actually kind of weirdly comforting to me because the thing I don't like about time travel and alternate timelines and all that stuff in the first place is how sort of wishy-washy it can all turn out to be.
Mhm.
Like nothing really matters because it all happens somewhere, but she's basically saying, no, we have to like repair the timeline. Like there is a real timeline. We're repairing it. So I kind
Mm.
of like that. And so you go with her to like several locations and she says, oh, like the Legion was definitely not supposed to be here. So let's kill all these Legion guys and restore the chronicles of blah, blah, blah. And it's very brief, but it's
Yeah.
a weekly thing that you do and you get like
You get
rewards
currency.
for it.
Yeah. So I know there's a
You
bunch
do
of
get
rewards,
currency.
right?
Yes. So the rewards are what everybody's after, right? So like there's the pets that have appeared at all the previous anniversaries. So if you've missed any anniversaries, pets and mounts from previous ones you can buy, and they're not that expensive. Like I bought the pets that I missed. It was like 10 currency, which I had on the same day.
Cool.
Then they have these remastered or redone versions of the tier 2 set, which is which is the armor sets from classic WoW.
Okay. Oh, right. Like Dragonstalker.
Yes, and so
I already
but
have
they're
a full set
mobile.
of Dragonstalker from when it
Yes,
was
but this
hard.
this will this will be
Just
better.
saying. And now I'm angry that everyone else can get it because I worked really hard on that.
Yes, you did.
I had to pay a lot of
Um,
DKP to get that.
because playing video games is work. So anyway, it costs 60 currency
Ah.
to get an armor set. However, and I might have this slightly wrong, but the first one you buy is 60 and the second one you buy is 40,
Oh.
and then all the ones after that is 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So
which
it
I thought that
does
was a cool way of doing it.
diminish in price, get you more of the things. I saw one of these videos that was saying, defeat FOMO. Here's how you can get everything out of the event. That's not how you defeat FOMO, folks. You defeat FOMO by saying, I don't fear missing out, and
That
it's okay if I
that
don't get it.
person was inspiring
Em-
FOMO by saying that.
Embracing FOMO.
One of the events you can do is they took a really famous dungeon from that era. So this is all about classic, right? Which is Black Rock Depths, BRD, as it's
Hmm.
lovingly known, and they've reimagined it as a raid. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
you can go in there, and it exists on normal version and LFR version. I actually don't know if there's a hard mode version, um, but there probably is, and a mythic version. I don't know. Anyway, so
Did you
I've
do
been in
it?
there. I did it on LFR a couple times.
Oh, okay.
I haven't done it on normal yet. Our raid team did go in there on normal last Wednesday, but I was doing this, so I couldn't be in that part. And it was overtuned. So they fixed that, and I think we might be trying it out this week. So I'll have to
Oh, it was. Oh, okay.
report back on that one. But I have done it in LFR, and it wasn't super trivial. Like we did wipe a couple times, or um, yeah,
Pause one
because there's a
second.
oh, uh-oh.
Uh, one sec. Streaming. Okay, we might not have to stop anything. I just can't record anymore. So I gotta delete some things really fast though. Yes. Yes, I know. I'm trying. OBS recordings. Delete. Quick.
Don't delete anything you want to keep.
Properties. Empty my recycle bin. Damn it. Do not. Failed. Hold on. We're gonna have to fix the recording too. Hold on, chat room. This will just take a second. Empty recycle bin. Disk cleanup. Recycle bin empty. Okay. Yes. Clean that stuff up. All right. Now we should have 10 gig left. Man, I meant to check that before we started. Okay, we got 10 gig. That should be enough to say, okay. Okay, save all. Saved. Okay. Here. Okay. Audio's back. Audio's recording again. And how is OBS? OBS freak out. And now we're recording in OBS again too. Okay. All right. There we go. But the stream chat room, the stream didn't stop at all, did it? We're all fine here, correct? Everybody good?
Yeah, I don't think it
No,
did.
I think we're good. All right.
So anyway, there's a lot of fire in BRD and a lot of area effects and a lot of fights where there's ads. So there's that. Of course, I went in as a healer, which makes it super easy because then I just stay out of stuff and heal people. I don't have to decide whether or not to kill ads.
Hmm.
Also, I forgot what I was going to say next, but yes.
Bunch of little mini events. Like here's the one up on the screen now. I think
Mm.
you talked about this last week,
Yeah,
which was the
Mount Mania.
Mount Mania.
Oh, I see that guy on the pink snail. I want that mount.
What is the
See,
pink snail?
I don't know. So that is one thing about the Mount Mania game that it's been really fun for me is I've been sort of making a list of mounts that I want to acquire, and then I look up how to get them, and then I remove them from the list because it's like, challenge dungeon from Mists in
Oh.
Pandaria or something
Yeah.
that doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, so BRD, Chromie, yeah. So there's one of the little. I don't know what they're doing on the ice there. That's something I've never done.
So it looks cool. It looks like there's a lot of things going on, but it also looks like it's way too much. And I kept thinking, oh, I should jump in there. I should check it out. But it
Well,
almost seems like way too much that I would just
but a
like,
lot of it is just weekly stuff, right? This is where I was going to say is that yes, it's a lot, but it's not daily. It's weekly. So like if you want to run, it's not like if you want as many tokens as you can get, you have to run BRD every day. It's not like that. It's like you only get tokens the first time you run it that week.
okay, maybe I'll take a look.
And
There's
what
just
people are
so
doing,
much
because
going on.
the event itself has an XP bonus. Then if you do some of the little mini events and move the bar up, you get a second amount of
Oh,
bonus. Then if you already have level 80s, you get 5% bonus for each level 80 you have up to 25%. So like right now, if I were to level a character, I have a 35% bonus, XP bonus, if I do if I get that extra one in. And so what this was like Sirach's idea, this is a really good idea, is if you take one of your character that you want to level and do the weeklies from this event, you can level them from 70 to 80 in a week.
crazy.
Yeah, and
Okay.
with these, another thing, and this was an idea that Fez said, is when you have this amount of XP boost, you always could level things, or for a long time you could level things using herbing and mining.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also just level from 70 to 80 herbing and mining, and then you're also supplying your main with what materials they may need.
And I've done that in previous expansions.
Yeah.
It's a nice sort
So
of like
that's
chill way to go about playing a game on the side.
But having said all that, which is all true, I get what you're saying, because when we saw we're going to talk about in a minute, the 1107 content update that's coming, and it's got a new zone and new stuff to do. I'm like, no, can you please let me finish
Yeah.
with the anniversary stuff before that comes out? Please, please, please. Just like I was saying
Right.
to Broadsword, it's sort of like, give me time, man. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so it's a lot, and then it also bring back one of my favorite things that they do with anniversaries is you can talk to an NPC and get like a little history trivia question, and then you get 5 time warp badges, which is another unrelated current. It's a time, yeah. Anyway, it's a currency, but it's not related to the anniversary currency. It's just time walking currency. But they ask you little
Yeah,
questions
which is
like,
useful too.
which dragon was the one who did such and such, and then there's like 4 names of like. I'm like, yeah, those are some dragons.
Yeah, it's not like
Some
Alex Straza. It's
right.
Dromorstenors. What?
Some of the
Never heard
questions
of
I know
that.
right away, and some of them I'm just having to guess. But it's kind of funny. It's like, and it'll go, that is incorrect. And I'm like, okay, I'll try another one.
This video, so I'm watching their video on the 20th anniversary. They keep showing like dev tools throughout the video. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I keep like looking. It
I
looks like
noticed
they
that
got a
too.
bunch of custom stuff that they've probably built over the years for like armor preview and armor sets and model preview, and then they were like doing a landscape editor and very cool. So yeah, you mentioned outside of the 20th anniversary stuff, there's more. So I saw the preview on this. I wanted to ask you about it. The I don't know. It's coming. It's going to be on the PTS tomorrow. Is 11.0.7. We don't know when it will actually be released or what that means. But yeah, tell me about 11.0.7 and anything you know. I mean, do you know about the roadmap? What else is like
So,
coming as part of the war
so
within?
11.0.7, or just call it 11.07, is introducing a new zone and new things to do. And I I've I'm kind of looking forward to it in the sense that I haven't done in real time a new zone since like BFA. So like in Shadowlands, they by the time they introduced the new zone, I was already not playing, and
Okay.
because I'd gone to Classic, and in Dragonflight I didn't really play at all because of being in Classic, and so I was kind of looking forward to going back and doing some of those zones, mainly because of Mount Mania, right? Because
Right.
some of those mounts are from currencies and reps that you get in those new zones, and the new zones I'm kind of bunching them all together because like there's the big glossy beginning of the story, and then there's a new zone which usually has its own little story and fun things to do and blah 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 this and that. So I kind of been looking forward to going back and doing those. However, I probably won't because I'm going to be doing what is the real new zone, which is this island area.
Yeah. Yeah. So this new island is going to crop up, and there's stuff going on the island. It's called Siren Island. It sounds like there's going to be dynamic stuff going on the island. But yeah, that'll be all on the PTR. They call it the PTR, not the
Yes.
PTS. That'll be on the and it's like looks like pirate themed too. That'll be
It,
on the PTR
there's
tomorrow.
There's three antagonist factions, and one of them is a pirate group.
Oh,
One of
okay.
them is a Naga group, and one of them is a I forgot what
So
the
is it
third one is.
connected to the main story? And what is the main story? The War Within. I forgot. Oh, it's like
Well, I
Spider
don't know
Girl and
because
and
right
Pete
there's a mysterious
Zalatath.
crystal on this island,
Oh,
and we don't
on
know
the
what it's
silent.
doing.
Okay, so that could
Yeah,
be
so
connected.
maybe that will tie back. I don't know.
Yeah, but Zalatath and the Void is like
Maybe
the ongoing war.
we'll find
Right.
her some shoes.
I think that's the next expansion. So this is War Within, and then it's going to be War Within 2, The Search for Shoes, and then yeah, Footloose again will be the third one. Well,
That's a WoW joke because somehow the big baddie of this of this X-Pack is barefoot.
has no shoes, Zalatath, and that has become a meme as you would expect it to be. Yeah. So there's
So
that.
the PTR for this is coming soon, like you said, but we don't have a date for when 1107 will actually come.
Right.
I'm
And it's
thinking
impossible to know. It's I'm not
I'm
joking about
thinking
that.
early 2025.
Oh, so you think it's that far away?
Yeah.
Could be. Could be. From looking at like it's hard to
Maybe
even figure out when their content releases like 11.0.2 was like 2 months ago. And then 11.0.5 was the anniversary update. And this is 11.0.7 coming on the PTR. And it seems like the dot releases can be anywhere between like 2 weeks apart and 2 months apart. So, but this is kind of like a bigger one. And if it's just going on the PTR tomorrow, yes, I would expect to probably be in January or February. That makes sense. That makes sense. So in the meantime, your group is still doing War Within. It's still warring within.
Right. So our progression night we do we're still doing normal, but we've added 3 or 4 heroic bosses into the mix. Like we did the entire thing on Saturday night in normal, and then we went back and did 3 heroic bosses and got some good time in on the 4th one. Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun.
Is it still in only one raid that's available?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they going to have more than one raid in the old War Within there? Is
Yeah,
this
there'll
is
be yeah, there will be more raids.
but it's only a 1 year. It's 1 year for this expansion, right? I think it's supposed
I
to be like
don't
1 year for because it's a 3-year cycle, and I thought it was supposed to be like 1 year per chapter. So this first chapter on the World Soul Saga is the War Within, and it's supposed to be a year. So they better get cooking and get those released. Because what are we like 5 months in at this point?
I don't think it's gonna be a year.
Yeah. So Lucy says a year. I mean, maybe it will take longer, but that was their projected roadmap. Um, they, yeah, interesting that they haven't had another raid out yet. But if you guys are, so yeah, so Lucy's saying maybe it'll be 18 months as well. But yeah, they said a year, right? Yeah, they said a year. But are you guys intending to finish Heroic as well? I mean, how far are you done with
Yeah.
Heroic? Yeah.
Well, I
You'll
mean,
finish.
yeah, I think so. I mean, like Shrimp says, we had done all of normal within like the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the first 2 weeks that we started raiding. So
Yeah.
yes, heroic is definitely going to be our goal, and I'm assuming that we're going to get ahead of the curve.
And what do you got to do to get ahead of the curve? So this is a
We had
WoW
to,
term
we got to kill the last boss.
on Heroic
On heroic, yeah,
before what?
before the end of season 1.
Okay.
Which I don't know how much longer we have, but it should work. I mean, what's really been a boon for us is Flex. So we can play with 15 people come, or if 17 people come, or if 11 people come,
Yeah,
which has really helped
that's
us.
such a great system in an MMO.
Yeah, yeah.
Every MMO should consider that at this point.
And I mean, since people do have lives, it's really helped us.
What? That's not allowed.
Yeah.
They're raiders. Well, cool. Well, as always, we'll continue to listen in on you guys and your progression. I'm always excited to hear that you guys are making progress. Do you guys stream your raid night?
No,
Why not?
I know, right?
Sema, get your channel revved up. We should make that happen. All right, let's do a quick check. Probably not even that quick. Let's take a few minutes to go through some of the other games that are coming out and some of the other news, and maybe even touch on some of the things that we've been playing as part of that news too.
Good news, everyone!
First two things that I wanted to touch on in the news, and we sort of mentioned that these were coming, but they are both out now, is the remasters of old games. One that it's not even that old, which is Horizon Zero Dawn remastered and released on PC and PlayStation. So that is out and available now. And by all accounts, it's a good remaster. It kind of looks good. It brings Horizon Zero Dawn up to the graphical quality of Horizon Forbidden West. How much of a upgrade is that? I don't think it's very much, because it was already pretty good. But that's out. And then the other one, which I've seen people playing, that we've joked about in previous weeks as well, is Red Dead Redemption 1 has released with some graphical updates as well. It's not really a full remaster, but it's released on PC for the first time ever, 14 years after it first released. So that is interesting. So these two seem to be part of this continuing cycle of remasters, re-releases of existing titles being part of what we're going to see going forward, which I don't think is necessarily bad. I think we're probably, if I think about it, I think we're in a cycle of game development where the increases in fidelity and capability of major sort of RPG-ish titles aren't changing as dramatically as they used to be. Like if you would have gone back when Red Dead Redemption came out, which was 14 years ago, so that's 2010-ish, and go 14 years before that to like a game that came out in 1996, the difference between those is going to be huge. It's going to be night and day. You're going to be like basically like a pick. It's the difference between like a pixel game, a 2D pixel game, and Red Dead Redemption. But now the difference between Red Dead Redemption and 14 years later is significant, but it's not as significant. And I think that difference is going to continue to diminish. The style of games that are popular out in other genres will change, and that kind of thing continues to develop. But if you're going to say an RPG, what you can do and what you can have fun with in an RPG does not change that dramatically. So yeah, I figure we'll continue to see these. And in this age of AAA, quadruple A games, that was a pre-show rant also, the difference between AAA and quadruple A and why it's a valid difference. And Ubisoft was right to describe quadruple A, which is the budget. It's not the quality. Anyway, with this,
I think
spending hundreds of millions of dollars on a game, it can have a really long tail, and that can be good for the game industry.
right in general, like if you can make some money with your older game that's going to support your current development, that's only good for us.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's good. It's good for us, and yeah.
And it's good for the
exactly.
people who want to play Red Dead Redemption again.
Right. It's good
Or
for the
for the
people that
first
weren't
time.
even born or were like 4 years
Yeah.
old when Red Dead Redemption came out, and they're 18 now.
Right.
And this
That's
is like a
neat.
whole new thing that they can enjoy. Yeah, it's a great thing. 2 other games that are coming out soon. So one's coming out tomorrow. I will probably play this weekend, so we don't have to talk about it too much today. But boy, this is going to be another one of those that's going to be fun to talk about. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So Dragon Age is coming out tomorrow, and it's gotten a lot of reviews that have already come out now. So the game is coming out tomorrow, and a bunch of the reviews have dropped, and the reviews seem to be breaking down into like these 2 polarizing areas of the people that like video games seem to be liking it, and the people that hate video games but force themselves to make videos that get even more views about why they hate every game that comes out are not liking it. So there's a lot of reviews already come out that are sort of bashing it, but it seems like a lot of the criticism is of the level of it could have been more, like didn't meet expectations kinds of things. And I've listened to a couple of them so far, and we can evaluate a little bit more next week as well. And I'm sure they're valid. It's an opinion. And YouTube reviewers are not professional critics. So you need to separate that in your mind. And a lot of them are really good about this too. They'll say, this is my personal opinion. I didn't have as much fun as I expected. So fine. I'm not going to say that their opinion is invalid, but don't think of that as some sort of critical review that's objective when you look through these things, especially when it's against expectations. Because what a lot of people, and I've heard some of this in a couple of the reviews I've listened to so far, it was, my view of BioWare is, Knights of the Old Republic was one of my favorites. The original Knights of the Old Republic is one of my favorite games ever, and this just does not match the storytelling and the impact that game had. Well, you were 12 when you played Knights of the Old Republic. You're looking back at it with some nostalgia and rose-colored glasses and member berries. You're not going to be able to recreate that in your current jaded, calloused life that you now lead. And to expect that the next game that comes out, or any game that comes out from your favorite publisher who made your favorite game, is ever going to reach that level of
And
feeling is going to be really hard.
Maybe you weren't 12, but at the same time, it was many years ago. And it's sort of like how Christmas is not the same as the first Christmas you remember. And I would also caution people that when you read on the internet a soundbite about quarterly earnings calls or this or that or the other thing, it's definitely more complicated than you think it is. It's not
Yes.
one sentence doesn't mean, EA is in the crapper, or things are gonna fall apart, or it's this or it's that or it's the other thing. It is what it is. Just play a game. If you don't like it, move on. If you do like it, play it some more.
Right.
Buy another one. And I know BioWare is kind of a magnet for the naysayers, just kind of like Ubisoft.
Yep.
It's unfortunate, but there it is.
Yeah, because it's like live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Die the hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Which makes it extra disappointing when you have newcomers that are in their hero phase, like Larian. And we had another quote come out from one of the Larian executives talking about, sort of bashing Ubisoft again this past week. Saying that, their perspective on owning games is bad, and this is why. I guess get your jabs in now, but Larian, you're gonna get to that point where you're gonna either die the hero, which means stop making games now because you're at the pinnacle, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I do not envy them when they get their next game released and people compare it to Baldur's Gate 3 and say, Baldur's Gate 3, it like blew my mind, it changed the world. Why can't you make a game like that again? It's like, but this is a really good game. And by all accounts, Dragon Age Veilguard is looking really good too. As a game. And my final comment, I'll probably repeat it next week because I'll forget, is if you're a game content creator and you look back across the content you created in the past year, and 90% of it is like why you hate all games, then you're not a fan of games. You got to come to terms with that. And maybe put that as a disclaimer in your future content. I don't tend to like games, and now I'm going to review another one. I don't like video games. If 90% of all games you review you don't like, then maybe you don't like games. Because people that love games and love the gaming industry are making these things, and it's a thing that they put out and they made. And a lot of people do like these games. And if you don't like any of them, then it might be a you problem.
There's a lot of games out there too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the grocery store and try a new brand of ice cream and you don't like it, then you just don't buy it anymore. You
Right.
go back to your old brand.
Right. But if a lot of other people like that brand, it doesn't mean that that Ben and Jerry should stop. They're terrible because you didn't like their new flavor that came out. Or whatever.
Don't like potato chips in my ice cream.
Final game that is getting a lot of press right now, and again, I hope it lives up to its hype. But it's getting a lot of press because it's a month out, and it's probably going to be the next big AAA that everybody's going to have their eyes on. And start to do those pre-release and pre-reviews and reviews that are coming out, is the Indiana Jones game that's going to be coming out soon. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So seems like it's going to be a good Indiana Jones story. There's an interesting comment from the devs. They were interviewed and they were asked, "Hey, is the Indiana Jones story canon? Is this like part of the canon?" The TLDR of the response was basically kind of, they didn't say no, but the answer was no, it's not really canon, but you could think of it as canon. It fits into like an Indiana Jones story. And we're not saying like this is canon in terms of the cinematic universe, like everything's got to be a cinematic universe these days. No, it's not canon, but it could be canon. It fits in canon. It's a canon-y type of thing. So, and from all accounts, it looks like it is a story that feels very Indiana Jones. So if you're an Indiana Jones fan, it seems like you're going to get something fun here to try out and check out.
When you just look at the art, it just seems very nostalgic for the first movie.
Yeah. Yes. Very
Which
nostalgic.
I meant
Raiders.
that as a compliment. I didn't.
Right.
I realized
And the
that.
dialogue and the video clips and the cutscenes that they've showed so far. Yes, it feels very Raiders-ish, which is fun. And that's cool. And not everything needs to be a cinematic universe. We can tell, I think one person described some of these kind of, let's do more non-cinematic universes. Mad Max is a cinematic universe that's not really a cinematic universe. And it's been described as, imagine it's like folk tales or legends about this character, and new stories just keep getting told. Think about it that way. And it doesn't have to all connect, and it doesn't have to be this cinematic universe, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to explain, well, when you left Bartertown, well, when Mad Max was in Bartertown, how did that connect to blah, blah, blah? It doesn't have to. And we can tell fun, interesting stories. And I think that's a fun way to think about it.
And I wonder, Star Wars Outlaws got some complaints from people because it was mostly a stealth game and less pew pew. And I wonder if people will feel the same way about this and Indiana Jones.
Yeah. And we'll see.
I guess we'll see.
We shall
That's
see.
the good thing. We will see.
We will. Oh yes, we will see. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. I've been spending my time I did the No Man's Sky expedition, finished that, doing a bunch of stuff on the PTS, on Star Wars The Old Republic. I have 3 games that I'm want to get back to. Doing a lot of game development. So that's taking up a growing chunk of my time in a really fun way. It's
That's one of your games right now.
It is. I think about it. I play these building games, like survival games where you're building a thing, and you're like building, you're crafting. And Status Factory was very much this way. You're building your factory. And then I go into, get together with my studio team, and I build a thing.
You're actually building something.
And yeah, and it's like a real thing, and it feels really good. You feel, and I used to say this about just software development in general. Some days software development, you feel like a god, because you feel like, and I did this once. I was making something. I was doing it in Unity, and Unity doesn't have its physics engine isn't as inherent and built in as Unreal, and I had to like enable gravity. I had to like, I'd write lines of code, actual C# code to turn on gravity. And I did. So then I was like, well, why is my character kind of like floating around here? Oh, I got to like enable gravity. Oh, here's the lines. I'm C#, code it up, compile, go, gravity's on. And you get this feeling of, I have created gravity. I am a god. I
can see that.
Imposed my will on this world. Gravity. That's what I have done.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been having fun with that, but a lot of fun games to play on the side. No Man's Sky will potentially be something we'll be talking about in 2 weeks, because this expedition was only 2 weeks long, and there's a lot of rumors and churn about why is it so short. And with the PlayStation coming out, PlayStation 5 coming out basically at the end of this expedition, leaves room for something next. And Sean Murray hinting that maybe we've got something in the works for that PlayStation 5 launch. Could be something else to suck my time away from everything else that's going on. So yeah, that's been me. And maybe Dragon Age Veilguard this weekend. What about you, Sema? You're gonna be SWTOR, WoW. You got anything else on your agenda? Connections?
No, I'm like, well, I okay. New York Times games I do every day. That's just part of like going to bed at night and waking up in the morning. But yeah, I'm in overwhelmed state in both Star Wars and WoW. So
right.
I need to. I'm focusing on that through the holidays, because I have goals in those games.
Yeah,
which is what an MMO is for me, and that's what I like about it. That's what I love about it.
You're probably not going to do PTR for World of Warcraft, are you? Because you don't need to. You don't have to.
No.
Are there rewards for doing it? Hopefully not.
I hope not. I appreciate the people who do it, though. Thank you.
I have defeated fear of missing out by no longer fearing missing out. Because I play so many games, I'm always missing out on something. In fact, I'm missing out on most of everything. That now I've really become okay with it. And I'm happy to miss out on whatever, wherever. And I'll just go and do a thing and have fun wherever it happens to be at the moment. All right. With that last nugget of pseudo wisdom, that is it for today. All the feed and subscribe links for us, of course, are on newoverlords.com, and our video is on YouTube/newoverlords. Please come chat with us in our Discord. on newoverlords.com/Discord. And you can also follow on all the social networks while they last, and we'll keep you up to date there too. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.